Hi, and welcome back to my journey. It's been over a week. I was holding for, I think, 4 or 5 days so I could try to go to my daughter's little graduation ceremony from elementary school. I didn't make it, um, but in hindsight, and even that day, I knew she needed to say her goodbyes and have closure with her teachers and friends. And I mean, they're going to see them over the summer, a lot of them, but some of them aren't going to be going to the same school she will be next year. So they were there for a while, so I think it was good that otherwise I would have been in the way. And if that sounds like an excuse, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, I think I did the right thing. As far as where I'm at with holding, I'll put that in the description. I haven't come down a ton. I know I only have 4 milliliters left in this my first water titration of this 5 milligrams. So hopefully that'll go relatively quickly. And then I'm thinking about switching over to dry cutting. I did get a scale, and it's just a matter right now of me getting all geeked up and believing that that scale is going to be accurate enough to do this. Which I think everybody, even like water, it's the same thing. Coming up with believing whether that's going to work or not. I really don't have a lot to share right now. One of the things I want to say is just because I'm on this YouTube channel and I make these videos, I am by no means a expert at any of this. I'm the same as you guys. I'm just trying to get off these medications. And when I can't do them, I don't do these videos, and when I can, I do. So today, I'm doing one. I just went back to making my cuts again, so right now, overall, I'm feeling pretty good. Um, you know, as well as can be expected anyway. So, what I wanted to talk about in this video, though, is something that many of you have probably experienced, and I've chatted with people online. I've done it via text message, but a gentleman who is one of the subscribers of my channel, which makes me, that sounds kind of egoic, but that's how we met, had told me if I was interested in dry cutting that he had somebody that he could put me in contact with. She's actually in the Netherlands. Her name is Liz. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name because I don't want to screw it up. She is thinking about becoming a Benzi coach. She's gotten off benzodiazepines, and she's about, at this point, around 6 months out. So she's still having some issues, but fantastic lady. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it was the first time I literally talked to somebody. Now we talked via Facebook, but it was still voice, and I don't do well with that. But it was something that it was important to me because she could help me, at least talk to me through, what it entails to do dry cutting and whatnot. And that's what put me into contact with her. But talking with her for me was such a blessing because besides her being just an amazing person and soul, which, like I said, maybe some of you guys might want to use her in the future because, like I said, she may, very much may be pursuing to becoming a Benzi coach. But having said that, it was the first human being I'd ever talked to live in person that I literally could complete her thoughts, even if I didn't do it out loud. She could do that for me. There was things that I talked about that I normally wouldn't talk about with anybody, not even family or whatever, that, just, we didn't get a lot into side effects, but we did talk about them. And then so when they did come up, it was really reassuring to hear somebody else say, yes, I had that, or maybe, no, I didn't have that exactly like that, but it was kind of like this. And I mean, it was all, I kind of like this channel. I want to keep my interactions with people about Benzis as upbeat and as positive as possible, but at the same time talk about realistic things about, okay, this is what I did and whatever. When I had the pain, when I had this, when I had, I couldn't get out of bed, whatever it was, so we talked, and it was just, what I'm trying to get across is I think it is so important that you reach out to somebody. The support groups are fantastic. And if that's the only way that you can talk to somebody, then I think, and like I said, I've kind of stayed away from them because they tend to, have a real negative dive. In this case, again, she admitted to me she is not 100%. Where she's at is between, that's for her, if she wants to do her own videos and if she wants to talk to people where she's at, that's up to her to discuss. but she is off the medications and she is doing much, much better. Um, so again, another success story. Yay. Um, she's in the Netherlands. I think I said that already. So she is on the other side of the world from me. But so we've chatted a few times via Messenger. Again, Liz, if you're watching this, I don't know if you'll even see this, but if you are, thank you. You've been a huge blessing in my life. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about is that's really the only thing I really want to talk about on this is how important it is to find someone that you can talk to, even if it's texting or whatever. Somebody that if they're ahead of you on the curve, that would be fantastic. Even if they're behind you, then you get to play. And I realized when I've talked to people that it would be quote behind me, and I don't know really how you gauge that, but because today I might be ahead of you, when you only like have 1 milligram left, and tomorrow I'll be way behind. It just depends on the day. But I realize as I talk to people, I become the person that I fill that role of that person that I want to become, of what I'm working towards, of what of the goal, the end in sight. What I'm aiming at. I have no choice, or actually I have a choice, but it just the best of me seems to come out then when I'm speaking. The confidence that this is going to pass, the reassurance. I mean, it's almost like I'm reassuring them, but I'm reassuring myself. And I can't tell you how, as you put that out, how it comes back to you in spades. Does that mean it's easy? No. I mean, I could go talking about my daughters, whatever, but I let that go. I mean, I know that's the name of my channel, but I really did. I just let that go, and there was a peace about it, and even with the anxiety and whatnot, it was interesting because even during the hold, I realized that if you hold for a certain amount of time, it actually makes it worse. For me, during that particular hold, I got to a certain point where I was actually starting to feel worse. Maybe tolerance, withdrawal, whatever. I'm not sure because I've spoke about this before, where if I do hold for more than a few days, 3 or whatever, it's almost like I don't want to do the next cut because I'm afraid of it. But when I do it, it's almost like it throws my body kind of off kilter. I don't know if it's because the medication is leaving my system, or if it's just again it's going okay. It just kind of I don't know. And I know everybody's not like that. I mean, I know some people, doesn't matter what they do, they're going to feel the same way. And there's some people that are more like me, I guess, in that, if I do hold the day here or there, and it could be completely psychological. Although on that note, thank you, Liz. This came from her as well. I kept saying that to her as we were talking for the one and only really time that we spoke. I'd say face to face, but voice through Messenger. But I kept saying, it's probably just psychological. It's probably just, and she said, be careful with that. And the thing that we spoke about, which I think is so true, we've read lots of people, and this is from both of our sides, that really weren't that hadn't done a lot of research on benzodiazepine withdrawal, but their stories are all the same. So things that you may be looking at yourself and saying, because you've been gaslighted for so long by doctors and friends and whatever, that this really isn't happening, it's all in your head. Well, it may very well be happening. And for me, that was so freeing to know that, okay, maybe I am making some of this shit up, but there's a good chance I'm not. So let's just not worry about it so much. It takes away some of the shame. It takes away some of the I have to, some of the I must, some of the I shoulds. It was freeing for me. And I just think if each one of us reach out and help somebody, because again, I don't know what YouTube's going to do with these videos. I don't know what that's, I talked about that last time going forward, if, they're going to stop people from just having conversations like this. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving any medical advice. If you're watching this, you're probably either looking into or you're already coming off the benzodiazepine. I know it's what the medical establishment is doing going forward. There's plenty of proof of that. There's plenty of places where people are being weaned off. They've been told, and they're no longer. I know where I live. And I may have already spoken about this, but there is a health system that is no longer allowing their doctors to write benzodiazepines. Now, what they're doing with people that are already on them, I have no idea. I haven't heard about what they're doing with them yet. Now, I'm actually a part of that system, but the doctor that I see is not. They take my insurance. So what's going to happen, I don't know. And I'm already coming off, but I'm coming off at my own pace. because my doctor's willing to do that. And if you have a doctor who is or who isn't, again, go to w-bad.org. I may put that in the description too if I think about it, because they do have a really good article somewhere in there about how to find a practitioner who will work with you. Nurse practitioners, your general physician, there are maybe somebody other than a psychiatrist, or even like in my case, it's a nurse practitioner who works under a psychiatrist or psychiatrist. But so she's allowed to write the medications and whatever, but she's more open to, I don't know. Anyway, and if you don't, and because there was one gentleman I spoke to, and right now they've agreed that yes, they're going to let him come off, and they're going to come off at 10%. You know what? And I told him, don't listen to my story in that regard, because just because right now I'm coming down at around 5, and sometimes less, depending on how I'm feeling, 10 might be perfect for you. And they told him as well that we'll let you hold when you need to. So as soon as you start holding, you're diminishing how much you're coming down. So work with. I think the universe will give you what you need. So trust that. But at the same time, some of what we need, we have to go out. Unfortunately, we have to pick up the phone and make some phone calls. And if you have a doctor who's not willing to work with you, then find one that is. And if that doesn't work, then reach out to other people, because even my doctor, when I kind of mentioned that to her, she said, I think it's becoming more and more of a thing where doctors can actually, maybe you could do a Skype session with somebody and they could prescribe that way. So maybe it's not somebody directly around you, but maybe there is a doctor that somebody else could put you in contact with. I'm going to look more into that, because I know my nurse practitioner said she would be willing to do that if it's something that is possible, that she'd have to look into it herself to see if it's possible. If they're outside of the state or whatever. Now, if it's outside the country, I'm not sure about that. But again, just from me doing this dumb little channel, I've met people from Australia and the Netherlands and the UK and Australia and the United States, obviously. And it's amazing how small a world this really is. So wherever you are, don't say to yourself, well, it doesn't matter. That's not going to help me. Yeah, do a little homework. And I know it's not fair that, we should be doing the homework when we're going through this. But if we don't, who's going to? As I said about even like with YouTube, maybe cracking down and talking about this. Who else is going to talk about this if it's not us? And if we're not playing doctor, and if we're not, there's Google Doctor, which people, makes fun of that, but actually it puts, in my mind, my opinion, there's so much truth out there. There's so many stories out there of people who are going through what I'm going through, and I can read about it, and I can see I'm not the only one. I can find case studies of different supplements. Again, I don't really talk about them a lot, because just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Or if it doesn't work for me, doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. So people are, so I think we're all hesitant to talk about those, even though we're all looking for that magic pill. Just like I was just told recently, there's a doctor who's actually really very close to me who may very well maybe be able to help me. He doesn't advertise that, but it's something that it seems like there's a possibility. So I'm going to look into it. What's it hurt? I don't know if he'll be more expensive than I can do, but if it's something that's within my means of doing, and if it is, I will definitely be letting all of you know that. Again, but at the same time, if it doesn't work out, I'm kind of expecting that, and I'm okay with that, because I know this journey is here for a reason, and whatever that is, I don't know where it is yet. I don't know where it's going to take me yet. But again, even talking with Liz in that regard, she sees it as a blessing as well, and that seems to be the consensus of everybody that gets to the other side, even if they're still going through things, that it's made them a better person than they ever would have been, in their entire life. And I know you're going, that's bullshit or whatever, because I know that there's times that I would have said the same thing. And right now it's not one of those, because my head's pretty clear. But I believe it. I believe this is going to make me a better person. It's going to put me on track to what I came here to do. For those of you who can, swallow that. And it's just what I have to tell myself, because right now my daughter's off for the summer, and yeah, it's just kind of a shitty situation all the way around. But I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to push as hard as I can to come off these meds through the summer, and obviously going forward, because again, I know my event horizon right now is pretty long. But at the same time, I have no idea. I mean, maybe I talk to this doctor next week someday if I can, get to talk to his facility, and who knows? Maybe they can say, what, we do have something that can help you. Anyway, love and light to every one of you. Thank you again. If you can reach out to somebody, reach out to somebody. Take that step. Reach out, talk to them, interact with them. It gives you so much peace. And that's really all I have. So thank you, and I'll talk to you again. And I will try to make it sooner than what I've been doing last couple of days, or last week. So talk to you soon. Thanks.